me what you for, yeah. Hey, and pay me what I'm owed, yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. All this money on me. Yeah, yeah. Cash rules all around me. Yeah, yeah. All this money around me. Yeah, yeah. Cash rules all around me.
Hey, yeah, man, how you feel like a man? Who is that? I tell a long little real, I stay true to that. Hey, no, man, how you feel like a man? Who is that? I tell a long little real, I stay true to that.
Hey, big bags, my back ache through customs. You travel like you must be tough out of your luck, huh? I'm that go-to when she down to come through clutch, huh? Sit brown till I'm flush time. My drip, drip, real plush, huh? Internet tea off a blue pill. Hand grip stack of the blue cheese. Turn that to a bag in a new crib. Nice big spot by the seaside. Never stressed on for a handout. Niggas ain't on what I pay on. Niggas ain't on, need to rewrite. Yeah. Gold fronts to show the color of my soul. Fuck who you think you is, you got me in a mode. Where I'm from, we live and die by the
We're gonna get started in a couple seconds. All right, how you doing, everybody? This is me, your local Red Team member, guy who loves to share new and interesting information that I find wherever I can. But today we're gonna cover the things that went into building the BIC badge. A lot of you guys may or may not have come to DEF CON, but I'll show you guys kind of what the badge looks like here. I'm a little transparent, a little ghostly here. That's pretty interesting. But yeah, we're gonna be exploring the BIC badge today. And again, if you're tracking me or if you're following me on anything else like Twitter, Facebook, or things like that, we should have a recorded session that I'll be able to share with you guys as well. So let's kind of get started, right? So again, my name is Nico Smith. I go by the name Socks, and we're going to be just covering the BIC badge. And the BIC stands for Blacks in Cybersecurity. I had the luxury and the overwhelming pleasure to help Michaela Barnett, her vision. I helped her vision to kind of come to life, and I feel honored that she trusted me with such a great opportunity, and it was something that we actually had featured at the at DEF CON this year. Along the lines of not only dealing with DEF CON, but just overall, we were able to accomplish a lot of firsts this year, and I'm looking forward to kind of diving in and talking about some of the things that went into building this badge. Okay, so let me go ahead over here and click, just so that we can get some movement with my screen. All right, so here's my agenda. I'm going to cover, first of all, I'm going to cover the badge overview. We'll just simply talk about the badge itself. What does it do? What its purpose is, and then we'll roll into modifications. Cover a few things like the materials needed to flash it, or like just the different things that you're going to need if you want to make any type of changes to it. Also, what I did in order to have this badge in a functioning state. We'll cover code. Of course, with code, you need libraries, right? I used Arduino, and I'll get a little bit deeper into it as we get into that section. But I tried to package the libraries as needed. some planned upgrades, and a hopefully a walkthrough. Excuse my yawn. My apologies. But let's go on to the next slide here. So our badge overview, honoring through technology. So as I showed earlier, here's the badge, the front and the back. So I'm pretty sure you guys can see that 2.9 display printed onto the badge, and that leads us into the later part of the talk or the discussion as to planned updates and upgrades and things of that nature. If you guys are on Twitch, or if you're looking via Facebook or YouTube, you guys can go ahead and drop in comments, and if you got questions, I'll do my very best to answer them while we're in stream. Okay. So the badge itself, what's the purpose of it? Well, we wanted to highlight some social injustice and the victims of police brutality. And what Michaela came to me with was roughly about 200 plus names of people who had been affected in America by social injustice or specifically police violence. I was the original intent was that I would take these names and somehow find a way to showcase them or to kind of create a memorial around it. Well, looking at that and really thinking about like what PCBs, what materials we had to our for us to use, I was able to identify or locate a manufacturer that would use white PCB. Right, I haven't seen many PCB boards that are pure white, and white is a traditional mourning color of Africans in the diaspora in the South. I think they still continue this tradition to today, and I think you also see it in Haitian culture. I might be wrong, but I believe white is a mourning color in some other places in the world. Also, was featured. So with that in mind, I knew I wanted to do a technology badge. I've never done a technology badge. I was really excited because this would put me into a place where I really hadn't done or operated before. So first came the schematics. I drafted schematics, had them looked over and tested, and we sent them over to China to get them mass produced. What's being featured on this badge specifically is at the top you see the ESP 12E. Well, that's part of the ESP 8266 family, and what those chips primarily do is interact with 2.4 gigahertz transmission, kind of wireless interactivity, right? So the awesome part about this badge is not only is that chip acting as a wireless access point, but it's also acting as a web server, a headless web server. So what I ultimately ended up doing, because we had a malfunction that occurred due to during fabrication, what I ended up doing is getting those 250 plus names, and what they do is there's a headless web server that you can log into that shows you all the names. And if this badge comes into I guess a 20-foot radius of a special badge, and this year at DEF CON, Michaela had a special badge on. The special badge would transmit to the normal badges a specific string. In her case, BIC was founded 2018. So something else to note, I intended to utilize this JST connector And JST connector is that white, is the white connection right above the black fist with the loop on top of it. That's where you would normally plug in a rechargeable LiPo battery, 3.7 volts. However, due to the shortage that we were coming into contact with, the superconductors and material shortage that we were dealing with, I was unable to get my hands on the JST Type 2 connectors. So ultimately, I had to revert to actually cutting off the ends or soldering on 3.7 volt batteries directly onto the back of the board, which would be here. I had to solder a battery onto it, which was less than ideal, but it was enough charge for it to for the badge to run at least for 7 hours. So we had that, and also another awesome thing is the switch that you see in the upper left hand side, where down is off and up is on. You can conserve battery life in that way as well as a USB Type-C connector. The USB Type-C connector just made sense to me because we're now moving into the age where we have an abundance of USB Type-C. It's faster. It doesn't matter which way you plug it in, so I didn't have to worry about people accidentally, messing up the plug because, they inserted it wrong. I was just thinking about how we could make it as user-friendly and as easy as possible. And once you cut on the badge, it just works. You should see a wireless access point called special badge that gets generated. And then if you go onto your computer and you look at your wireless access points around the house, you'll be able to, log into, you'll be able to connect to it, and then go to type into your URL 192.168.1.123, and then that will bring you to the page. So that's just a general overview. Again, this is a ESP12E, which is in the ESP8266 family. So if you have other projects that you saw or you want to tinker with or handle, this badge is completely reflashable. So you can decide to, hey, I think that's neat, but I want to do something more exciting with my badge, or I want to do something cooler. Excuse me. I want to do something cooler, and then you can flash whatever program or whatever code that you want to onto this badge. So let me click over here and then next. All right, so let's talk about modifications. You want to flash your badge with new code, and here's how, right? So if you're going to flash your badge, there's a couple things that you're going to need in order for things to work the way that you expect them to. That is, you're going to need 2 wires, and I just grabbed, just some regular wires. You just pick 2 wires, right? You'll need 1 male to male wire, which you can get these for maybe 100 for 50 cents. They're legit end-to-end wires. You're gonna need wire snips. Of course, everyone needs wire snips. Let me get my wire snips out, right? Or flush cutters, as what they're sometimes called as well. And one USB Type-C to plug. And hold on for a second. And everybody has one of these around. You can use the one that you use to charge your phone, because this is what we're going to use as a data cable. One of the things that you had to do if you want to flash, I I know that these are ugly solder joints, but it's temporary, so I didn't care, right? So the first thing that you want to do is go right next to that R13 at the upper right hand side of your badge. And what you're going to do is apply a little bit of solder and a wire of your color you're choosing, and then you're going to connect it to the ground end of that resistor. That the ground part of the resistor is the one closest to the ESP chip. That's not true with every resistor, but with this resistor specifically, that's where you're gonna go. And then you're gonna start wire 2 to pin 15 on the ESP 12E. So as you can see pictured, you're gonna do it at the bottom. Now the reason why you're gonna do this is because unlike commercially manufactured devices, I didn't think through to create a reset or a flash pin, because my intent was I flash it once and I'm done with it, and I want to leave it to the makers of the communities to go ahead and modify as they saw fit. So one was cost reduction, and two was just it was just simpler. It was easier for me to go about solving this engineering problem in this way. So the reason why you're doing this is because when you have to flash, when you need to flash the chip, according to the documentation of the 8266, the pin has to be the pin that I have my black wire soldered to, which is pin 15 on the ESP12E chip. The power has to be low. So in order for it to go low, it has to go high. I'm sorry, it has to go high. And in order for that particular pin to go high while plugged in to my USB, in order for me to flash it, I had to make this connection, and then I just took I unsheathed a little bit of the wire and I twisted it together to complete the circuit, to put the state of the pin high so that it could receive traffic. And then once the flash is complete, once the data is finished, once you hit upload and it says reset pin, all you do is you disconnect the two wires. So in the picture you see them connected and disconnected. So during the flashing process, what you're going to do is have these wires together, and then when it's done, then you just unplug it, unplug the two wires so that they're back to disconnected state. You're then also first of all got to make sure that your power switch is up. And what you're going to do is take your male-to-male wire, and what you're going to do is you're going to plug that into ground, and then touch the number 1 pin in order to reset the circuit, or reset the chip. So let me go to the next page where I kind of get into it. So like I said, you're going to use the ground on the SAO badge pinout that I had set up, and then you're going to just go ahead and touch it, tap it one time. The light on the ESP12E or ESP12E is going to blink. It's going to blink blue, and then it'll go out. It'll be a momentary blink, and then you just disconnect. You just take the wire off. And you want to open up a serial monitor window while you're doing that, so that you can watch as your code populates inside of the ESP12E. So I know that sounds like a lot, but trust me, once you do it once, it's a very simple thing. You're just gonna connect those two wires, upload your code, disconnect the wires, plug in the ground, tap that 1 pin, and then you're good to go, all while the badge is plugged into your computer, right? Alright, so that's how you flash and reset the badge and also upload new code. Let's move on. The code to drive the badge was something that was both exciting and frustrating at the same time. Okay? On one hand, I sat out, developed some code inside of Arduino to not only get the badge to run itself, but also to run the screen that came with it. Unfortunately, I find out that due to a manufacturing error, the pins that are for the badge or for the screen, excuse me, the badge that's for the screen, which is on the upper left hand side, there's a place where a ribbon cable would normally go to power the screen. As a matter of fact, this is kind of how it looks right here, right? So the actual connectors are on the wrong side, so it's a single-sided cable, and the contacts are on the non-conductive side of the ribbon cable. So the idea is, hey, well, why don't you just flip it around? Well, the way that, you know, when you're setting up schematics and you set up your trace pins, the way that I understood things to go and as it's laid out is you have your current pin set. So if we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on the bottom, then if you just flip it, instead of it being 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, it'll be 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, going on top of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 inversely, which causes it to send no power. So I'm working on trying to develop a way around that problem, a cost-effective solution, and I'll keep you guys updated. Special shout out to Daniel Ndwati. He is amazing. We sat up and we're up over a course of a couple days. I believe like 3 to 4 days trying to come up with a solution to this issue. And again, here's the code. The code base is from the Express if libraries. Again, had a hard time with trying to get things to work. Specifically the screen, but I had the opportunity to sit down and talk with people smarter than me on code libraries and Arduino specifically. He's actually a mechatronics engineer, amazing guy out of Kenya, who had the opportunity to like help. We co-devved everything and kind of made stuff work. Again, we tested connections. I was out here with my multimeter, and I'm checking to make sure that all my connections work, and everything was laid out appropriately. But it wasn't until I looked into the socket and saw the pin arrays or the contact leads not in the proper formation that it kind of led me to believe that wasn't a application issue. It was a actual physical engineering issue. But enter Nico's creative brain, and we have a solution. So we shifted from going to where people were going to be able to visually see the names scroll across the screen, to one where I think is a much neater application of the idea. So what happened was I needed to shift from a digital representation on the badge itself on screen to a more ethereal application. Could we make the interaction more personal and self-contained? And the answer was yes. And after a few YouTubes and kicking cans back and forth and trying different creative solutions, in an effort to understand like the full force, the full power of the ESP12E, we ended up coming up with a mesh network. All right, so like I said, wireless access point and a headless web server. So when this badge comes into the area of this badge, then it gets not only sent a specific string, but this one is always running the web application, self-contained, so no need for internet, and it's, you know, streaming the names that we mentioned earlier, the 250 names, which then reinforces this idea of relationship and interactivity. So while I'm still interested in trying to get the screen up and running, we're able to engineer ourselves out of the initial problem, which was ensuring that we could spread the awareness that we wanted. So again, shout out to Dan, the man from Kenya. He worked with me again on solutions and code development, as well as troubleshooting my badge screen. It's very hard for, like, again, I'm not a programmer. I'm not an electronics engineer. So it's very important for us to be able to reach out and find people who might be able, you know, to have industry experience, and then look at your problem set and say, hey, well, did you check this, or are you considering that? And those things, when we have people like that, they help our projects become better and ultimately more stable. Also, shout out to Andrew Fustini, awesome guy that I met in Chicago at the greatest hackerspace known across the world as Pumping Station 1 out of Chicago. I met him there many years ago, and I just know him to be an amazing engineer, amazing developer, amazing maker. And you know, I shot out my tech sketches, some schematics, and, you know, a badge, so that he could give me some insight to some possible ways that I might have overlooked, or my schematics might be off, and he's been kind enough to give me some time to look into some of the issues that I'm bumping into. I have also taken the liberty of dropping the developed code into a code repository. So hop on GitLab, gitlab.com/free-range socks, and then BIC-BADGE-repo, and you'll be able to see and get access to the code in case you want to flash your badge or flash a chip, because, I mean, at the end of the day, it doesn't just have to be on this badge, but it could just be the chip here, and you're going to have to come up with your own means to power and to upload the data. But you know, the code's there for you to review and to read through. Again, we used Arduino, so you got .ini files up there, and you just need to have a functioning Arduino IDE, and then you'll be able to, you know, tweak and you know, bring your badge back to the original state if you decide to, like, upload some different code to it and it doesn't quite work. So let's talk upgrades. More functionality, more coding, more better? Maybe. So, of course, SpongeBob has to pop up, and he has to ask me those questions. You know, will the screen ever work? I'm very hopeful that I'm going to be able to engineer a solution or come up with a way to make this work. However, it's going to have to be in a version 2, I think, because there are it's just going to take me a lot more time to either figure out like where I went wrong, or to figure out how to solder a microns width of solder onto a thing in order to reset those pins so that they appropriately line up. And with that said, I'll show you the badge. So this is the badge with the screen, and as you can see, it looks beautiful being mounted on. However, unfortunately, with the pin issue, you know, we got a small problem. Okay, so demo walkthrough. So I'm gonna reserve this section of my talk to show you guys kind of how to get a board up and running. All right. So right now, the one I'll be using is this one that I have here. That's kind of looking like a ghost. I think that's pretty neat, but not very visually useful. But what I'm doing right now is I'm gonna go ahead and introduce another window. Stand by. Let's go there. Bam. Bam. Okay, cool. Alright, and let's get us a give us a browser source, shall we? Okay. Okay. Alright, let's get that one up. And I'm sure that you guys are seeing some weird stuff, but that's just Streamlabs being amazing. And then hit there. Bam. Sweet. Alright, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to get rid of this guy. And I'm going to bring this guy over here. As I said before, if you just go ahead and hop on over to GitLab, you'll be able to see the code, and it's just here. It's called a BIC BADGE repo right there. All right, let me do something about that. Yes. All right. So I also want to open up my Arduino Sketch just to give you guys a walkthrough there. Open. Oh, we can do that. File. All right. Hold on just a second. Boom. Okay. All right. All right. There we go. What I'm gonna do is give us a window capture. There we go. We'll call it Arduino. At that source, we're gonna go ahead and that's a window. I don't want a window. I want to add a display. All right. Boom. That's 2, 3. All right, done. All right, guys. Let's take that and move that out the way. All right, there we go. I'm like a ghost. Sweet. All right, so let me readjust this for a second. There we go. All right, so here I'm at the BIC Badge repo. So if you get interested, you can come here, and here's where you're gonna be able to see not only my walkthroughs, but you'll be able to pick up the Arduino file as well, and get the MAC addresses, because MAC addresses are important only if you are handling or interfacing with multiple devices. So that's that. I'll leave that up for a second while I go over to my other screen and I get my my badge normal downloads. All right. Yeah, I just need to pull my other documents down. And then we'll go ahead and work with that. So, just in reference to what you're looking at right now, I even have steps, so make sure that you guys pay attention to the steps that's here. 1, install Arduino, and then install the libraries, and make sure that you you install the driver as well, because if you don't have a driver for your that recognizes that you plugged in the badge, it's not going to work, and you're not going to be able to see the badge, which means that you're not going to be able to flash the badge. So just make sure that you follow that small point, and then boom. Let's open up Arduino. Hold on. So yeah. That's where I wanna. There we go. All right. Had a little snafu happening over here, but we're able to overcome that one as well. Boom. All right. Let's go here. Still waiting for it to power up. All right. Boom. All right. So let's close this one. soon as it opens. Okay, alright, so when you open up your Arduino IDE with the badge, you should it should ask you if you want to create a folder, which is what I was doing over here. And then these libraries, as you can see, this says normal board, but you can change this SSID to whatever you want it to call, and you can change the password to whatever you need to. This was put into place so that the other badges weren't just logging into a random open port or random open SSIDs, and there's a way to create a connection between the two. Of course, right now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna connect the badge. I'm twisting the two cables together now so that they're together. All right. Hopefully this power differential doesn't make my screens flash, as it sometimes does. Okay, so as you guys heard, the badge is plugged in, and when it's plugged in the center of the badge, you'll see a blue light that flickers on and off. That's normal. It's just saying power is happening to the board. And what you're going to do first is you're going to go ahead and you're going to make sure that you find the port that your device is plugged into. Right now, that's for me COM17, right? And then you're going to go ahead to make sure that your upload speed is 115/200. Always make sure that, and then make sure that your board is reflective of what you have, which is an ESP12E. What we do now is we're going to go ahead and click that upload button, and it's right now going through the compilation process where it's going to compile. Okay, it's yelling at my ESP async web server tech H. I should have that in there. I should have that. I think I need to lowercase that. ESP. Let's try that again. Boom, 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 boom. Let's see. Well, give me a second. Let me go into my tools. Include library. Yep, it's right there. Let's see. That one. Let me go back. Oops. Let me go back up. Between the sync. again. Interesting. Let me check my my code, because I believe that should work. Let's see. My apologies, guys. I'm probably running 2-day-old code. Or not 2-day-old code. 2-week-old code. Bum, 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 bum. Uh-huh. Okay. Let's go. Let's go. Instead of that, first of all, let me just double check. Include library. I know I have a lot of libraries. Manage libraries. ESP. Okay. Go enter there. Boom. I should already have this. Oops. Here, let's just go here. Yep, that's it. And then that's why. Let's go enter. Boom. Yep, it's installed already, and this is the one that we're working with. But hold on, let's stop for a second. Tools, Sketch, include library, let's go here. All right. Okay. Already exists. Okay, let's put another one. Right now, what I'm doing is I'm making sure that I have the library that I'm requesting right now present. it'll tell us down here. Okay. Let's try this one more time. Now I know that I was experiencing this when I was working on it earlier. So let me drop that one and pull up that one. And then let's upload that one. And what we're experiencing is called "I didn't pray to the demo gods" before I got out here, because I rehearsed this at least 4 or 5 times. But as you guys can see, all the libraries, everything is compiling properly. Okay. Alright. The communications port got misset. So let's do it again. And I know that because it says this right here. And remember, our serial port was another one before. So let's try this one more time. Tap dancing on screen, people. There we go. And as you guys can see right down here, how everything, it recognized chip, it recognized MAC address, and right now it's writing or flashing to the ESP28266, and like on board you should see a blue light blinking that's actually on the chip as well, showing actual things happening. And this right here is what tells you that it's time for you to pull apart that connection that we made earlier. So what I'm doing right now, I'm taking my 2 hands, I'm simply just disconnecting. I just disconnected the 2 wires that I twisted together. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead over to Tools, and then I'm going to go to Serial Monitor. It popped up on my other screen. Boom. Now bring it over here. And then let's, I'm inserting my male to male into the ground port on the actual board. And then I'm just going to tap, and you should see some googly gosh. Then you see those 3 dots, which is good. It means that things are happening. Alright, so right now one of the things that I should be able to see is special badge. And as I go over to did I plug in? I flashed the wrong file. Oops. Hold on just a second. I had to flash over 100 badges, so I have a bunch of code unorganized in a lot of different places. Hold on just a second. Close this out. Give me a second. I'm gonna use my cell phone. I had to get my cell phone because I wanna just confirm. Scroll down. Over mobile hotspot. And then okay, there we go. All right. Let's reflash this badge. The reason why I'm reflashing is because I believe I uploaded the wrong code that I had. All right, there we go. All right. Yep. Oh, that looks accurate. And let's upload. Boom. I'm glad that this is not 3,000 lines of code. It's gonna go. Okay, there we go. Okay, cool. I think I got it before it went into. So if you catch it while it's compiling the data versus when it tries to upload to the actual end device, you can change and you can catch it in time. So okay, great. Caught it in time. Okay, again, hard reset pin. I pulled it apart. Once I pull it apart, then excuse me, flash it. But we want to get our serial monitor up. Okay, what is serial monitor up? We're gonna touch that again. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, so you see that it connected to an IP address. So let's go to that IP address. Boom. Let's go. What was it? That's 192.168. Yep. Control copy. Okay. Also, it's important for your machine to be on the same network as well. There you go. All right, so as you guys can see, this is how